Alright, hello and welcome to another YOGU. So, today we're going to be talking about the Opticor. So, this weapon is the Warframe equivalent of a Spartan laser, and it hits like a fucking truck. It's real satisfying to use too. So, there are a few things about this weapon. One, it does obscene damage on a full charge, and two, whenever you shoot, there's actually a small AoE around your solid surface hit location. So it has the small AoE blast, which can help with your like little baby units while you're trying to fight heavy units and such like that. And this thing is generally pretty damn good at killing big enemies, which is going to become pretty readily apparent, I imagine. So I will say I don't have any Forma in the Opticor, and the Opticor performs a lot, like a huge amount better when you do have Forma in it. I know a lot of people would go for a critical build, and I might try that out if I had Forma in it, but I feel like if you don't go for Forma on this weapon, going for the criticals is not only like less viable, but it's really inconsistent, because you only get to 37.5% critical chance. So for me personally, that's something I might go into whenever I had Forma on this weapon, but without Forma, this is a very consistent thing that does still significant damage. So I'm using Shred because the punch through for this weapon means that I can like handle like a couple enemies way more simply, shoot multiple heavy units, do things like that, which makes it a lot more versatile, especially in hallways. And then other than that, just a bunch of elemental damage, split chamber, Zeration. Pretty basic besides that. In this last slot, I've seen some people add just Vital Sense to get like just that like huge spike in damage, which I think is reasonable, but I might go for the full critical if I were to go for it. So let's just kind of get into it and blow some enemies away, because this weapon makes pretty short work of most things. Like the only time that it's not really blowing enemies away usually is if Split Chamber has that 10% chance to not fire too, then sometimes these enemies will survive a shot, the basic ones. The larger ones kind of depends on the damage type you're using. I'm using Corrosive Blast, so I think it's the Heavy Gunners. Heavy Gunners should pretty much instantly die, while the Corrupted Bombards will survive a little bit. So let's get this started. Obviously, I could shoot into the back and snipe the Ancient Healer. That's the word I'm looking for. But that seems a little cheesy, and I want to do it from the ground floor. Gotta get away from them, because bombardment rockets, pretty self-explanatory. Get rid of the healer. Half a charge. Oh yeah, this weapon can be also fired at half a charge, which is quite effective. Also, being able to shoot through walls just like that is incredibly helpful for enemies that are running for cover or already in cover. Back up a little bit from the bombard. There we go. Wow, that was awful. Alright, I'll be honest, I got scared there. I panicked. That was a panic shot. Oh, here we go. Not quite enough punch through. There we go. There we are. Yeah, the punch through adds a significant amount to this weapon. Like, if someone added the other punch through mod to this weapon, I probably would not argue with them based on, like, the preference of it. Also, as you can see, half charges do a significant amount of damage as well. Are there any enemies hiding around here that want to get blasted by the quad laser? Good. But yeah, that is that's the Opticor. And as I said, this is not the most efficient build for the Opticor. This weapon does even more damage whenever you, like, form it. And even at, like, this level, like, I use this on, like, the Nightmare Raid to blow away, like, nullifier drones and stuff. It can do the job. But yeah, once again, for the build, this is the general use thing I have. Upgrade all of these to their higher damage variants, Hellfire instead of Thermite rounds and such. And then max out Tread, and then Blast mod here is pretty subjective, I'd say, in this configuration of build. And then also, a critical build is something that will spike for more damage, but is maybe a little less consistent. I have not tried that personally, other than, well, I mean the full critical build, of course. But, yeah, the Opticor is a wonderful gun, and it feels really good to use, but, I mean, it's kind of hard for a giant laser to not feel good to use, right? But yeah, that is why you would use the Opticor, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.